we're back. I'm the Sassy Glass Cook.
And I'm Mom.
And that's Mom.
What is this?
Today we have as our theme sriracha
Sriracha.
and kimchi.
And she stuck me with the kimchi.
Mom's going to make kimchi.
Yes.
She's got all her stuff all lined up, and that's what we're going to do. So Mom's going to do kimchi, teach you about that. I'm going to be sauteing some onions. I'm going to show you how to caramelize the perfect onion. And I'm also making plantains, and I'm going to fry them and smash them down, and we're doing a maple sriracha sauce on those.
You know, you should introduce that differently. You should introduce it not, I'm going to make the perfect caramelized onion. I'm going to make it's the perfect procedure for making a caramelized onion. Because anybody can make a caramelized onion, but it's the perfection.
Yes, and then after the perfection is completed, we're going to...
After perfection, I get fired.
No, you don't get fired. They need you.
Nobody needs
I need
me.
you, Mommy.
I don't.
So
I know.
what I'm going to do with it afterwards is I'm going to toss it with arugula, and I'm going to toss it into some... what else was I going to put in it? Oh, cheese curds. That's what we're going to do. Anyway, so we're just going to keep right on going here. Knock yourself out. I'm going to go back and turn on
I think we got into
my
the
stuff.
sriracha theme, and I think that we just picked kimchi. Fermented foods have always been kind of a penchant of mine, and I have one of the most wonderful recipes that is a fermented walnut, apple, and what's the other thing that's in that, Colleen? Walnut, apple, and raisins.
In which
and
thing?
I haven't made it in about a year, but it is so good.
I've never had it.
And fermented foods that your immune when they hit your intestinal system, they're. What was that?
I was just telling them what was happening.
Oh, I thought I saw.
Do not salt your onions. Put them in a little olive oil and let them go.
Yes,
That's what they're going to do right now.
Yes, if you salt them, they'll bring out the
Yeah, that's what
liquid,
it is, the water.
and then your onions won't be nice and plump. Anyway, because I like fermented foods, I used to raise kombucha, like 15 to 20 gallons a week. I would drink a quarter kombucha a day, and it never did me any harm. And all the friends that I gave it to, they drank it, and we did this for years and years and years. But probiotics are run rampant in all of these foods, and every culture has had probiotic foods. India has Sassy, which is a fermented drink. Kombucha, of course, is a fermented drink. This, what we're making today, kimchi, is the Orient's take on that. And oh my gosh, there's kefir, yogurt. Whenever you have taken antibiotic, you should always follow it up with a probiotic. But they always tell you get some yogurt. Well, there's differences in yogurt, and boy, I could get into that and do a dissertation on why you just don't do yogurt after you've had a massive amounts of antibiotics, or even a small amount. Anyway, I'm going to get started with this. Kimchi. We start with cabbage. It's a Chinese cabbage, and we cut it in one inch pieces.
Do you need to see what that looks like? I'll bring it.
Yeah, bring it up. And we cut it in 1 inch pieces. Let me just grab one and show it to them, because this is not really okay. About like this, and
That's it?
yep. And some of the pieces will be smaller, but if we get into show and tell, we're going to be here all night. We may be here anyway. So anyway, you start with that, and I have already done most of the work on that. You soak that in salt water, sea salt, for about 1 or 2 hours. Now this is a quick version. We have such a thing as kimchi that gets buried in the ground and it stays there for a long, long time. This is very good. This is authentic. But in this day and age, I think we're looking for maybe the flavor of something, but what we really want is we don't want to spend a bazillion hours and days and everything else
Are you
trying to
putting a
replicate
daikon
it.
radish in there?
So anyway,
You putting a daikon radish in?
I'm going to put a daikon
I'm
radish
going
in
to
it.
go and grate it.
She's going to grate it for me so that if
That's a daikon radish, if anybody doesn't know. Woohoo, it's a boat.
yes. And one of the problems that I'm finding with all of the recipes, I don't have an original recipe, but one of the problems I'm finding with all the recipes is they'll say use 8 daikon radishes. Okay, how big are they? Are they this big?
They're
If it
pretty
is,
darn big.
We're
Chris
going to
got
have a
that for me.
10-gallon crock. So it depends on how much you want to make. So this is a simple recipe that we can make. We can put it in the refrigerator after we let it ferment out on
I'm
the
going
counter for
to
a while.
grate it now.
Yeah, and take your oars with you because you look like you're in a boat. And so I'm going to make this.
Can you hear me back here?
Yes, I can hear you wherever you go.
I'm grating.
They'll pay. You're grading? Oh, whoopee. I'll keep her busy. She'd get away from me. Okay, so I'm going to start putting the paste together.
You want the whole thing, Mom?
Yeah, I guess, Pat, do a little bit of it first.
Okay.
And the first thing I'm going to do is, I got to show you what I found. I found this little onion thing. Now, when I mince an onion, I stand there and I mince. Now, this has a little douche flippy in it that has little holes. And you just put that in there, and you take your garlic, and you put your garlic on top of those little holes like that, and then you go and hope that it works, and you go like this, and it doesn't work. So, what you have to do is you cut it down to smaller pieces, and then you can poke it through. Now, I'm not so sure that it's worth it to have to cut it to begin with, but it's nice and fine. However, if I really want to know that I've done something and that I have it exactly the way I want it, then this is the way I do it. I just take the garlic and I just mince it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to mince it, even though I can't see what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of feeling around here. Oh, and this is my knife. Colleen doesn't like this knife. Where's your knives?
I didn't know. I've only got my
She uses
utility knife out.
these little wussy things. Huh?
Wussy thing? That's a utility
That's
knife.
a wussy knife.
But what are you using?
I'm using the meat cleaver machete.
Oh, this is the one she talked about the other day. Show him did you show him?
Yeah.
It's bigger than you are.
It's big. And I've been using this for years and years and years. And so far, the only thing that's happened to me is I've cut my fingernails.
What did you do?
I cut my fingernails off. Well, here comes the mailman. But that was early on. And,
We don't get mail here.
no, I don't get mail here, but I thought you might like to know that the mailman's gone by. Anyway, so I'm going to mince all this garlic by hand. And, all these little gadgets that you can get, they're wonderful, but sometimes and that would be very nice to have. It would be very, very nice to have, and I have it, but I usually use so much garlic that by the time I cut the pieces small enough to be able to, because I don't have a lot of hand strength, to be able to push that through there. And it's a sharp little grate. So anyway, I'm going to take this garlic and I'm going to put it right in here.
Oh my God, my makeup's melting.
Her makeup's melting. Isn't that awful? She might look...
That daikon doesn't give you very much. I hate to tell you.
Was that a whole daikon?
That's the whole thing that I just showed you.
Well, dump that right in there on top of that cabbage.
Okay.
You want to show it to him? It gets her off my back.
There you go. That's daikon. Goodbye.
Okay. Now, this recipe calls for a Chinese cabbage. That's what you saw back there. I would say the Chinese cabbage was maybe that, like that. The daikon, you saw what that was. That's maybe like this, but long and skinny. And I used 3 garlic cloves here that I just minced. And I have 1 inch of ginger. I peeled the ginger and then I grated it, so I'm going to throw that in there. I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. I've already measured it. I just go to the store and buy the fish sauce. Fish sauce, incidentally, if people are allergic to, some people don't know enough about Chinese food to know that fish sauce is okay. It's made with anchovies. It's not made with shellfish. So if you have a shellfish problem, you
Stay away.
yes. Would you get my little spatula? I forgot it. I'm so sorry.
Where is
Actually, it's in that box.
it? The green one or the round one or
It's the long handled one. That's it.
the green one?
I had to get green to match your.
It's a popsicle.
I
I'm
had to
sorry,
get
did I leave
green
that?
to match your tongue. Oh, her teeth.
I don't have green teeth.
Boy, you know
I
this.
don't have green teeth.
Well, you don't anymore.
I never had green teeth.
No, she never did. Anyway, this sriracha sauce, I am enamored of it. I really think
I never liked it.
You never liked
Ever. Until I made that barbecue sauce for the...
it? Really?
Yeah, until I made this stuff that's gonna go on the... I'm making with the plantains.
That's
later.
that's no
I think
exposure.
it's something to
Now
smash.
it calls for 2 tablespoons of that, so that's of the fish sauce, and it calls for 2 tablespoons of the sriracha sauce, and it's actually sriracha paste. And then it calls for 1 tablespoon of castor sugar. All castor sugar is a fine ground sugar. I made my own. I put mine in a blender, and I blended it. And I blended it and blended it. If I kept blending it, I would have had confectioner's sugar, so powdered sugar. So I thought, well, I'm going to try this. I think if I were looking for absolute perfection, I probably would go on.
You have it. Here I am.
Oh dear, I won't even comment on that. Here she comes.
I love you, Mommy. I love you.
All right, I bet you do. 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar. Anytime.
Mom, did you use that paste, the chili paste?
Yes, I used it.
Did you tell them where they can find that?
No,
Any Asian restaurant has it. You want to look for the one that looks like this? It's a beautiful thing.
all right, so now I already have the sauce that's going to go on this. Well, it's a paste. It's not really a paste. I think it's a sauce. I'm going to set that over here to the side. And then I'm going to, ooh, I want to put some more garlic in that.
Okay, now I'm going to watch you for a minute because I'm on hold.
You're on hold, all right.
Is this going to the pooper?
This is going to the
Pooper?
proofer.
In the back, the pooper.
Oh, okay. Yes,
Are you
all of this.
finito?
I'm done. Fini.
I'm cleaning your sector.
All right, clean it up. Do a good job. Now we've already got it. Now we're going to do the vegetables. We've already done the cabbage, the head of Chinese cabbage. We have already done the daikon radish, and we grated that on of course grater. And we're now it called for 2 carrots. And they
Here's
want
your
them,
bowl of stuff.
thank you. And they want them done in matchsticks. So rather than belabor this thing, because it's such a no-brainer, I probably could have had the whole thing already done and thrown it together. We could have been done in 3 minutes.
Yeah, but you gotta show everybody, Mom, how
No,
to do
enough
this
to
whole
show
thing.
them
You
now.
can't just wing it.
I love to talk. Don't I? Woo-hoo. Anybody back there?
I'm right here.
Oh, goody.
Watch your
Okay,
finger.
so what it's my finger. So what I'm going to do, I shouldn't say that because she's only watching out for my best interest. I'm going to cut this into little matchsticks. I did most of them this morning because I thought this is going to save a lot of time. And she has a lot of things to do today. And we don't want to impede progress, do we now?
What do I have to do?
Well, you gotta do the onions, you gotta do
They're
the...
already done. I'm just waiting for you to do what you're doing. And
How can you caramelize an onion in 3 minutes?
it doesn't. It's gonna stay back there for a while I do the plantains.
Alright. Okay, so I have these all done. So what I'm going to do, these are just matchstick carrots. So I'm going to throw